Besides the lettuce, there are a lot of non-lettuce greens that add a great addition to a salad. For example, here we have radicchio, which looks almost like a little head of cabbage, but it's more of a tender type of a green. This tends to be a little bit bitter, but it's used a lot for color in some of the mixed greens. This is a bunch of spinach, which adds a lot of flavor and a lot of nutrition to any salad that you may want to put together. We have cabbages. There's a variety of cabbages. This is a Napa cabbage. We have green cabbage. We have the red cabbage. And then we also have some other products. You can buy a lot of greens in the baby form. This particular green is called arugula. It's a very peppery, lovely flavored green that adds a nice addition to any salad. You can buy spinach in a baby form with a lot of different sizes. You can buy them in boxes. You can buy them in bags. This is mosh, which is another green that has kind of a flowery, nutty flavor to it, just a nice mild flavor that adds a nice touch. You can also buy what's called mesclun, which just simply means that it's a mix of young greens. And in here, there's a lot of different kinds. We have some chard, we have some Lola Rosa, there's some oak leaf in here. So there's a variety of different types of greens in this mesclun mix. When you're purchasing greens for your salad, there's a couple things that you want to keep in mind. You can again buy them in heads or you can buy them in bunches, but what you want to look for mainly is that the product is not wilted. That's, obviously if there's some dark spots on it, you're going to stay away from it, but more than anything, I look for wilted. If it's good and strong and firm, this is a nice fresh bunch of greens. If it's wilted, you want to stay away from that. Now, as I mentioned, you can buy greens in boxes, you can buy them in bags, or you can buy them in heads or bunches. Now, when you look at the cost comparison, that's what you really need to consider. If you're buying them in bunches or heads, you're paying about 1/4 to 1/5 of what you're paying in the bags or the boxes. These pre-washed, bagged, and boxed products run between $8 and $13 a pound. So you really want to consider if it's worth your money, or if you can spend a little bit of time picking through these, washing these, cleaning these, taking the stems off. You'll lose a little bit in terms of product. But this, for example, if I cut the stems off and use this in a salad, I would use this in stir fry or some other way to use the entire product. After you've purchased your salad greens, you want to bring them home and put them in the fridge. When you get ready to use them, you simply want to rinse them off, and there's a couple ways of draining them. One, you can just put them on a towel and let them drain. You can put them in a colander, but the thing that I like to do, if you have one, is use a salad spinner. And there's a variety of different kinds of salad spinners, but all you have to do is put your greens in the spinner. This particular one's an easy one. All you do is give it one simple pull, or maybe a couple of pulls, depending on how wet the product is. I'm going to give it a couple to make sure that spins off really good. Then you just take the lid off, and you have nice drained greens. And you can see the couple little pulls, there's quite a bit of water that's been left in that bowl, so it really has drained that lettuce well. And that will make a much, much nicer product or salad. What I like to do after I've drained my lettuce is I like to wrap it in paper towels and then put it in a Ziploc bag, remove the air, and this lettuce is just as great, even better than, or I think even better than the pre-washed lettuce, and it takes just a little bit of time to do that. One of the nice things, or one of the things you need to remember when you're storing this, is you want to make sure that you store your lettuce in an airtight bag away from apples and bananas and pears, because they give off ethylene gas, which will cause your lettuce to decay quickly. It will destroy and go bad very quickly on you. Once you store it like this, it'll keep for about 10 days in your refrigerator. When you get ready to use it, the question that I always get asked is whether you should tear your lettuce or cut your lettuce. And that really is a personal choice. If I'm going to be using the salad right away, a lot of times I will just use it, cut it with my knife if I'm in a hurry in particular. Or if I'm going to make the salad a little bit in advance, then a lot of times I will just tear the leaves.
There are a lot of bottled salad dressings on the market, and there's nothing wrong with them. A lot of them are really tasty. I don't really prefer the low-fat or reduced-fat salad dressings just because I think a lot of them have kind of a slightly pasty consistency. I think people tend to use more of them just because they don't spread quite as easily. And it really is so easy to just make your own salad dressings. If you do want to try making your own salad dressing, the sky's the limit. There's so many good oils that you can choose from, and the oil can add a lot of flavor. Again, if you're using a real high quality oil, it becomes one of the flavoring agents, such as here's a hazelnut oil, or a walnut oil, or an extra virgin olive oil, and a little bit goes a long ways in all of those, but it does add a nice flavor to your salad. There's also different kinds of vinegar to use. And this is a rice vinegar. It's a seasoned rice vinegar, so it's got a little bit of salt, a little bit of sugar. That's a very mild vinegar. There's also, this is a balsamic vinegar, which is a very rich flavored vinegar. Also, this is one that I've just seen in the stores recently. It's a pomegranate infused red wine vinegar. It's got a real nice flavor too. So the ratio to keep in mind when you're making your own salad dressing is about 4 parts oil to 1 part vinegar. Now, some people like a more vinegary salad dressing, so then the ratio would be about a 3 to 1. Sometimes if you're using a really flavorful oil and a more mild vinegar, you might want to even change the ratio to about a 1 to 2, or 2 to 1, I should say. Another guideline is to taste the type of lettuce that you're going to dress. And if it's a more bitter, slightly peppery green like arugula, you might want to use a little bit sweeter dressing. Add a little bit of honey, or add some kind of maple syrup or some sweetening. You can also add citrus juice, like a lemon juice or orange juice for part of the acid. And you can also add even some kinds of herbs or spices. We've just got a couple of blends here. This is a salad supreme. That's something that you can just add add a little flavoring to that oil and vinegar mixture. Or this is an Italian seasoning. That would make a real simple dressing. A really easy recipe, very flavorful recipe you can try is a honey poppy seed salad dressing. So I'd like to show you that right now. So we've got equal parts, 1/3 cup balsamic vinegar, 1/3 cup olive oil, and I've also got 1/3 cup of honey in here. So you just mix those together. And if you put the honey in the container with the oil, it pours out a lot more easily. Okay, and then just a good squirt of mustard and a tablespoon of poppy seeds and a couple of grinds of fresh black pepper. And that's pretty easy. So then this is just a little gadget that will mix it for me, because part of the challenge is emulsifying together the oil and vinegar. So you can either put some kinds of dressing in a blender. It's not necessary with this one. That will help the oil and vinegar stay mixed together a little longer. You could also, if you don't have one of these, you could put it in a jar and shake it up, or you could use a whisk or an immersion blender. I don't like to use those with the poppy seeds because I like to maintain that texture in this dressing. So I bet I've made this recipe 500 times, and it is one of our favorites. So make sure you have a big bowl so that you can toss it, and you really need just a little bit of this dressing, and toss it with some, okay, you really just, a little bit goes a long ways with this recipe. So my favorite tool are these salad hands. You can really mix a little bit of dressing around, goes a long ways. Saves those fat calories, but also saves money. It just gives a little bit of flavor without drowning the greens. And if you don't have salad hands, you can also use some just salad forks like this. Don't try to toss your salad with something like this. This is more to serve them with than to toss them. But the trick is just have a big enough bowl that you really can cover every piece of lettuce. So starting with just a simple bowl of greens, you can transform that into a much more substantial salad or even a main meal. So the perfect salad in my mind has lots of different textures, lots of different colors, lots of fruits, vegetables, something crunchy, and some sort of protein if you want it to be a more substantial meal. And so we just made some samples for you to give you some ideas to get you started. First one is we're using the honey poppy salad dressing. On this one, it's just the mixed mesclun greens, and we've added some strawberries, some mandarin oranges, some almonds for the protein source and to give it that little crunch, and some red onions. Also added a little bit of feta cheese just for that tang, and some dried cranberries. This one right here, we used some mash salad greens, and protein source is some tuna and some garbanzo beans, along with some pickled beets and some peppers of different colors and some pea pods. And this one right here, we've made kind of a taco salad. Protein source would be the black beans and the corn. Add a little bit of salsa and some avocados, a few radishes. And we just made a real simple dressing of some sour cream mixed with some salsa and just some chips for garnish and for that added crunch. And then this last one right here is a Greek type salad where we've used some spinach greens and some other mixed baby greens with some feta cheese for the protein source, as well as some sunflower seeds for a little bit of extra protein and some crunch. Got some Kalamata olives and some pepperoncinos and some little plum tomatoes. And so don't be afraid to experiment. This is just to give you some ideas. And once you start making salads like these, everybody will be convinced that you're a great cook.